Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Doc here from North America. Another fun-filled day. Let's see what we got going on today. I can see, you can see, we can all see that the Swiss is just a teeny-weeny little bit heading down. Nothing major, but that's the way it has been for the last couple days. Rising now, and that we use this as a surrogate to basically, look at the general trend of the dollar itself. Let's go to, let me check the chat line too. Let me head there. And so that is the way it's moving this morning. We got the Swiss showing just a little teeny down, but nothing major. And, ooh, that's too loud. Too loud. Where's that mouse at? There it is. And, okay, I see Daniel's there. Hey, Daniel, how are you doing this morning? So let's make that lower too in volume. There we are. So you can see that little pressure going on there. We'll go over to J4X and see what it looks like there. As you can see here, 88 broken the 89 again. Still lifting up. You can see, this is still acting strong in here. Over here on Chicago Quant, we are starting to roll over. Interesting there. Looking at the weekly. It's joining in with, as we go back to the spreadsheet, where is it at? There it is right there, the dollar index or UUP. I guess we should put UUP in there too. So it's like UUP, there we are, is in 1 week in a buy. So that's interesting to see that. At the same time, I guess as we go around the mystery tour, Bitcoin did a bounce, but still risk of bear move. I just think it's thin. There was also, I read some, I don't even want to repeat the stories that I read yesterday because they didn't happen, but there was some, it was coordinated very well with a dark web story about politics and China and the two or three major, what do they call themselves? I guess they're miners. Bitcoin miners, it was a combination of all of that put that, put it this way, put that thrust into it. I did not mention it at the time. I wanted to see if it would confirm out. It did not. And I bet, as we look at it now, I bet Bitcoin is even firmer today than yesterday. So let's go check the Bitcoin. Now that you mention it, let's check it out. What it is what it is, and that is Bitcoin. No, that's not the right place. Right there, there we go. And we'll scroll down, and there it is. Oh no, well, let's give it a refresh. It is higher, there's no doubt about that, and it has run higher. And you can see that it was as high as $37,050, and now trading at $35,475. So it's off a couple $1,000s from its high, basically, or that $1,500 bucks. You can see our work here is still trying to break down. See the histogram nice and high, so there's no problem there. It's above the zero line. I don't know how much weakness this is going to be. This could just be the noise of the wild stories we saw yesterday. And again, I'm not going to repeat them because they didn't play out, so there's no reason to push old ideas. Now let's see. Daniel says oil's still running 53 a barrel now. Cool. Surprisingly, S&P still above 3,800 considering the political climate in the U.S. and what is likely to happen in the next 10 days. Well, the central banks now, remember bull and bear markets. All right, first of all, let's put crude oil up there too. But let's go back to the whole ball of wax, okay? And that is that bull and bear markets don't really exist anymore. That goes up with the old tape reading stuff, of yesteryear before there were derivatives and so forth. What I mean by so forth is that, back before there were derivatives, you could do tape reading. You could watch the trades and you could get a feel because longs were normally long, shorts were normally short. When a lot of stock was being sold or a product was being sold, it meant something. Now, You can't. That does not work in a derivative, a listed option derivative world. That does not work anymore. It has no relevancy. The zero sum factor has been removed. I know we start to get into a little too deep. Just relax. Everybody breathe through the nose, blow out through the mouth. I'm going to give it a very simplistic example and explanation. Breathe again through the nose, into the out the mouth. So what happens is that options, don't be scared. I know I'm saying a scary word, but options remove old-fashioned tape reading and buyers and sellers. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. All right, you ready? Hold on to your chair. If you have to, cover your eyes. Options remove buyers and sellers when you look at a trade now. They don't mean the same anymore. Okay? So before that scary word, the listed thing, okay, what happened was that when you saw buyers come into a product, they were naturally they were buyers. Or they were covering shorts, which meant they were still buyers. Okay? And vice versa. When you saw selling, they were sellers. They might have been getting short. They might have been getting out. Either way, they were sellers. Okay? Now, in the listed options, I know I'm using that horrible word, listed options world, it removes that whole dynamic. Okay? So it removes the dynamic of when someone's buying something or selling something, it doesn't mean they're getting long, or when they're selling, they're getting short. It doesn't mean that anymore. It used to mean that a lot. Buyers were buyers, be it covering a short or getting long, but they were still buyers. The transaction was based off the idea that they were trying to cover or be long, but they were buyers. Okay? Now, that doesn't exist anymore. All right, I'm going to have to say that word one more time. Listed options. I know, it's scary. It's probably in the woke community. I'm sure it's got to be removed sooner or later. It's probably a hate word. I would assume it's a hate word nowadays. But so when now we can slide away from those scary words, and there are no more bull markets or bear markets. Those things are kind of gone. They have no real relevancy anymore. Now we have buyers of last resort are the central banks. They're not the funds. They're not the specialists. They're not the traders of the floors. They're not family desks. None of that stuff. That all is irrelevant anymore. So there I guess you could say there's a couple dozen solid traders, funds. All right, now I'm going to say this again. There are probably a couple dozen entities on the earth that are moving the markets now. That's it. The rest of it is just following the markets. So in other words, BlackRock is not moving the market. They're following the market. Back before, I know I'm going to use this word again, listed options, I didn't mean to be that nasty this time in the morning. I didn't mean to have a scary conversation. But before that, it was a whole different game. Okay? And so to answer Daniel, when he says I'm surprisingly about the S&P being holding the 38,000, that's what the central banks want. And what the central banks want, what's the old saying, traders? Don't fight the Fed. Okay? If that's what they want, that's what they're going to get. They're going to have a very strong. Your thoughts on Trump re-election? I'm not even sure what's going on at this point. I know one thing. I can just drift into legality in America, and that is sooner or later, it all comes out in the wash, as they would say. So in other words, he will end up proving over time the criminality that occurred, and the country will know. A good 65-70% of the population will know about it. Right now, only maybe 35-40% of the population knows about it, and there's no dialogue about it because the 6 major media networks across the planet refuse to communicate it. So I guess we just have to wait and see when that all reappears. Ah, we got Robin. Hey, Robin, what's cooking? No volume. I can hear me. Can everybody hear me? I think you have to just restart. Oh no, yeah. Robin says no. I see it. I see you put it up there. Sound, yeah. I hadn't gotten that far down. Your thoughts on Trump? Let's see. Morning, Doc. Hey, Yellowfish. How you doing? So let's see. Just restart, Robin, and see if you can get the sound that way. And if not, we can leave the telephone line open. You can just listen through it. Okay. Bye bye. So, um, so that's the answer to your election thing. We'll see when Biden gets sworn in. I can tell you a couple things about Biden that over the next 3 months or 6 months are going to be fascinating. The guy can't put together more than a sentence or two without losing his breath. So, it's going to he's going to look very geriatric as time goes on. You're going to be like, wow, the guy got up there and spoke like 3 minutes and he's off and he's done. It's going to be really wild. I imagine they'll put Kamala out there and she'll do lots of talking. She'll express a lot of the things going on with the administration. He'll probably stand up, say a few things, say Kamala, Vice President Harris is going to, explain everything, and he'll stand it aside. I would imagine that'll be it. I think that's going to get a little long in the tooth as the months go on. I think people will get a little frustrated with that. So, let's see, what's that, Daniel? So Daniel says, same way central bankers are buyers of last resort and sellers when they want to. Right. Tether can be considered buyer of the last resort of Bitcoin. I guess, that was a heck of a swing. What, $7,000-8,000 swing yesterday? And do we have it up there still? No, that's crude oil. Oh yeah, look at your crude oil. Who was it? You, Daniel, said something about the crude? Yeah, 53. It's been marching along. You can see, Chicago Quan is screaming up, up and away. That's for sure. Let's see what it's showing over on J4X. In my beautiful balloon. There we are. There's J4X doing the same thing probably. Yeah, look at the white line. It's been firm. Can't the hinky ashkies are green. Yeah, it's been acting very well. A little weakness breaking down in here with the purple line, but overall it's been very strong for the last 4 days. And we've been in a daily buy now for what, 7 days? What is that? Where's my mouse? There's the mouse. So what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, going on an 8th day and reaching the highs. Let's see now. So let's see. So where's it? So Robin's restarting. Let's see. So Bitcoin. Okay, and Yellowfish says Pence 224. This election, as much as it looks like it's going to be over, it's not going to be over because the documentation of all the criminality is there. In other words, as much as the media doesn't want to talk about it, it's still there. Sooner or later, it's going to be resolved because they're going to fight to resolve it. They're not going to let it go. So I don't know how that plays out. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, that type of thing. So we'll just see how it plays out over the next weeks and months. See Biden get sworn in, see how it goes from there. I'm not confident that he still can get sworn in. I don't know. The criminality that they've documented, it's actually documented. The IRS is chasing that family for like $4 or $5 million. They weren't registered as foreign agents, or what do they call them? You have to be registered as a lobbyist or some foreign agent, or I don't know, something like that. That's not going to go away. I guess Biden can just pardon the family, and then I guess some people will wonder why he pardoned them. Maybe most people won't even know it. The media won't report it. They'll just pardon him. One day you'll see the blurb that he got pardoned. Everybody in the family's been pardoned, and that'll be it. So we'll see. See how it all goes. I would imagine that might be one of the first jobs he does is literally in the first few hours pardon the family and then walk away from it. So and then the media is not going to talk about it, so it won't matter. So what do we got here? So let's see. What do we got here? So Daniel says Yellowfish doubt it. Yes, I can hear you. Let's see. Lynn Wood was heavy bias against Pence. Lynn Wood is out there. He's just a wild man. Doing his thing. Look, in an era where there's only one-sided media, you got to be wild to get people to listen to you. Let's see. Middle Age. Hey, Middle Age. Haven't seen you in a couple days. Hey, Doc. Silver. Feb Live Cattle. I appreciate it. Well, let's look at it. Let's see what it is. Let's see. Where is it at? Let's see. What was the first one? Silver. Let's see. Silverado. Silverado still lifting up, but we're in the sell. The pressure is it's trying to lift up. You can see we went to the weekly sell last week. We'll see how well this does and if it rolls over. You know, central banks may not be very happy about the metals being up here, and they can just go sell the daylights out of them and squeeze them more on the downside. Now remember, they can print. You know, Biden put out a statement this morning or last night, I saw it, where he's like, you know, people are going to have to get used to the idea that we're going to have to spend a lot to resolve this COVID-19 problem. So, I mean, you know, Fed prints tons of money and just goes into the futures market and sells the silver harder and gold down harder. That would not be outlandish. You know, that wouldn't be crazy. That would just be the way it goes. And so let's see, that's silver. What was the other one? I think Middle Age says, oh, Feb Live Cattle. Let's see what live cattle looks like. There it is right there. Trying to perk up. It's not trading yet. And you can see here, if that had been a green dot, it would be in a buy today coming in. But it's a red dot. So we'll see what they do, see if they lift this up. Now, look at that. This week is playing with the weekly sell. Look at that. We just need the green line to roll over because this is a 3-5, not just a pure 3 or a 5. You know, this is a 3-5. So the histogram is moving at a much faster pace. It's the 3, I believe. Let's just double click on that. So it's probably plot. Green line is plot 1. Yeah. And then the histogram is plot 6, which makes it the 5. So there's some pressure coming on in here. We'll see how they do. Last time it did that. Now that's kind of interesting is that, you know, you can see the green came up first. The histogram was minus for another couple of weeks, 3 weeks to be exact. And you can see it basically had not changed as much as it oscillated the $5. And then they both joined in together, and then the strength kicked out. Again, picking up just the $5. It seems like when we squeeze this, you can see it's been in kind of a tight range. Reverse head and shoulders thing going on there. You know, let's see, the histogram broke down first here. We went into the daily sell. You can see the pressure that we had. Then we went back into a daily buy, but we were in a weekly sell. So, and you can see not to be short, of course. And it took back off again. We'll have to watch it and see. This, like I said, we might see this thing go into a buy. This might bounce off the 0 line, the green line, and start to lift. The histogram might start to pick itself back up. We'll have to see how it plays out. How's that sound, Middle Age? I think that's a good analysis of it at the moment. Let's see. John Short. I like that. I know a Joe Short. I know a John Short. I know a Betty Short. So, any relations? Hello, John. Let's see. Trump. Daniel says Trump as president. Let's see. Trump as president and General Flynn as VP. Very likely. There's some rumor Insurrection Act has been signed. Yeah, that was part of the dark website, dark web stuff over the last 72 hours. But it doesn't seem to be. It hasn't happened. So we would see that. Trump will be speaking from the wall today. What time is it? I guess it would be like in, let's see, 1 o'clock? I think it's 1 o'clock. Or 2 o'clock our time here on the East Coast. So what's that? If it's 8 o'clock, 6 hours from now, Trump will be talking on the wall. We'll see. See what goes on there. Let's see. President insurrection sign. Nope. Let's see. Well, we'll see. We'll see in the next 2 weeks, the results. This is why a market sell-off is to be considered. Oh yeah, without a doubt. But remember, I had this conversation. Did I have this conversation yesterday on the webinar, or did I have it with one of my traders? I think it was with one of my traders. I think it was with the webinar. Anyway, the conversation was, remember, the volatility funds are gone. Remember, what drove the markets wild when C19 came out was the volatility funds. I know, now I've got to have a conversation again against, all right, everybody who's concerned about derivatives, put your hands over your ears. I'm going to start using in 3, 2, 1. We're going to use the scary words again for a few seconds here. The listed the options traders, the ones that were selling volatility premium, I know, using all these profanity this time in the morning, basically we're trapped. The only way you can hedge your risk, your volatility risk, is you have to sell short against it. And you can't care where you sell. You just have to sell. And so the reason the stock market fell from, 29,000 or whatever it was in that area down to like, 22,000, the reason why it fell, 30% was because the volatility funds, there were like 3 or 4 of them, had made about $5 billion from it over a 12-year period because they thought the Fed was giving away free puts, so they always felt that they didn't have to worry about the naked puts that they were short. And then, I know it's a lot of profanity, but in the end result is they went out of business, and now they don't exist, and so that pressure on the market on the downside is not as prevalent as it used to be, okay? So, to answer Daniel, we'll see in the next 2 weeks for the results. This is why a market sell-off is to be considered. Oh, I always consider a market sell-off every day. But the thing is, with the central banks and with the, I'm going to warn everybody again, I'm going to use those words. Don't mean to be so use the profanity so much this early in the morning, but the options traders, the ones that were selling premium, volatility risk and all like that, don't exist anymore. So it won't put that much pressure on the markets anymore. So it's going to be like very calm. Any sell-off would literally have to be an alien invasion with them firing their weapons at full blaze. And I can tell you right now, where we live in the galaxy is not a good spot right now. So no one's going to be coming to visit soon. Okay? The next 25, 30 years, more than likely, unless they're willing to evacuate all of us. So that's where we're at the moment. All right, so don't worry about a sell-off too much. As much as I agree with you, I'm always concerned about one. Don't look for a January, like a February, March sell-off like we saw. The central banks are going to take care of that. They're going to be, in there. Isn't Janet Yellen coming back? I think she is, right? I think he named Janet Yellen as Fed chair again, right? Yeah, so she's just going to, the markets are just going to be firm, slow and steady. Now, I don't see those evil, horrible funds that use the words that we should not speak of coming back to life. So I don't think you have to worry about that. I don't think she'll allow it. And, when you control the media and control the central banks, they can do what they want. They can print when they want. They can do it all. It won't matter. So, let's see what else Daniel has to say. Not that. Okay, Middle Age says the chart was covered, but you explained it. Oh, I'm sorry. Here, let's do that again so you can see it. Okay, there it is. I'm sorry about that. There it is. So there's the cattle, and as you can see, this weakness here, where the histogram gets minus, and then the green line joins in, there's not much selling at that point. The daily is more, actually, to be honest, with this product right now and at its heights, I would think, with grains the way they are, let's just take a look at where soybeans are right now. Soybeans still roaring from the top, right? Let me just refresh that. With that much strength in that sector, I would have to believe that the dailies are probably a little bit more insightful in some ways in the cattle and the hogs. Where's corn at? Now, corn is pretty high up there, too. Yeah, so it's trading very close to the highs of what? 5-month highs, 6-month highs, something like that. And then where's oats at? Let's see what oats look like. Oats are flirting with the sell, and the weekly's starting to drift. I don't know. It's, the expense of the food, the whole bit. I don't know. I would say that I would trust. Let's go back to cattle, but I would say I would pay attention to the daily and try to utilize that more than the weekly, just solely because of the action. When it does get into a weekly buy and you got a daily buy, yeah, I mean it's guns blazing, be long, winner, winner, chicken dinner, But and then obviously when you're in a sell and you go and you get into a weekly sell, expect to see some real selling going on, like from here, it was in the weekly sell, and then all of a sudden slam doodle, and they take out 6-7 cents. That I think Robin and I put a warning out about that one on the bar chart or something like that. So yeah, I would watch the daily more. It's going to be a little bit more sensitive. I might even try to go in and work the gas line. Maybe I should jump to a 7 gas line and see how that smooths it out. You know what? Let's try that for a second. I'm going to make a copy of this, and then I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to actually take a look at that right now live, just for the sake of it, just because I'm interested. And unless anybody wants to see anything, I'll stop it and we'll go look at whatever you want to see. But until then, I think I'll just put a 7 in there and see what happens. Let's make sure I have the right one, too. Yeah, right there. Okay, so because this way we can delete it. So I go like that, format indicator, and I remove the 3.5, remove that, and then add 7. Let's see what 7 looks like. That might smooth it out because of the speed that it's been moving at, or lack of speed, more like it. Gas line 7. There's all my gas lines. And then properties, and we'll make it the weekly right there. And all right, so now that's interesting. Let's see if we raise this up a little bit. Who knows? We might even need to go to a 9 to smooth this thing out. What's it do? It goes into a weekly sell there, right? Because this is just a pure. Remember, we're looking at plot 4 and plot 1, so it goes into a sell there and misses that buy. I don't like that. And then it gets you into the buy in the middle of this. Puts you into the sell here, which is much later. Much later there. That's why we're using a 3.5. And I might even go, I have a gas line 5.7 too, and that might be worth looking at. But I think I've bored you enough at this point. And so that's, see, it's kind of lagging. It needs a more advanced gas line. So let's go back to that again. Right there. So that's why we're running a 3.5 on this. And imagine we're using a 5 up top, which is to slow this down up top there. So, all right, that was fun. Let's see, where are we at now? I think we were doing, anybody want to see anything, yell it out. But right, oh, I just saw something from Dukascopy. Let's see what's going on there. Oh, that's Jonas. Okay. There we go. So, let's see, what do we got? So that was Swiss. Let's take a look at the euro. You can see the euro trying to pierce its weekly. And Middle Age, did I give you enough info there? How about that? I was even able to show you how we look at different gas lines. It's a frequency thing. That's how we choose the gas lines. Ah, yeah. How about that? Can we look at gold? Sure. That's XAU gold, right? Yeah, we can do that, Yellowfish. And we're going to go from Turkish lira to gold. Because Daniel just asked for Turkish lira just right above you. Let's see, where's it at? Right there. I think it went into it did go into daily buy yesterday. You can see it on the, oh, you can't even see the fact check spreadsheet, can you? Let's see, we move that over. There it is. What's that? Line 17. Yeah, it went into a buy there. So we're 4 weeks in a sell. And it's been, let's contract that a little bit. So we've been in a sell since up in here. And this was a long sell. And we went into a buy yesterday. And looks like it's trying to hold up a little bit in there. We'll see how it goes. This is not that far off the hunt. We get the white line turning up, it could go back into the buy. Okay, so there's the Turkish lira. Now, I'm glad middle. That's no problem. Always glad to talk. Let's see. Let's see. Now let's go for yellowfish. Yellowfish wants to see gold. Let's check out gold. Right there. We'll put it up on J4X too at the same time. There it is. Holding up pretty well there. Come on. Jump out. There we go. It's trying to turn up. Look at that. Some trying to turn, but still red. Our worked the same way. Pretty much. Let's see. What did it get down to from that daily sell start off? What was that? Got down to 35? No, 27. Someone dropped about 70 some odd dollars. And you can see it's trying to lift back up again. You can see the weekly is trying to bounce right back up again. So there's some buying going on in there again. I don't have a lot of confidence in the metals market at the moment, solely because if Mr. Biden does get sworn in next week, Janet Yellen's going to be in there, and they're going to print like there is no tomorrow. And you would assume from the old-fashioned days that would drive the metals through the roof, but they have the ability to fight with it. So there we are there. So there's the gold, and you can see it's trying, and we're down kind of low in here, and we're trying to turn up. The green line has turned up. If we scrunch this, you'll be able to see that. See? Green line is turning up too. So we'll see. Oop, wrong one. There we are. Now, the weekly's trying to get going also, so awful hard to believe. I guess the same stuff I saw about the printing and the way they're going to just load up. I mean, there's going to be hell. I think the United States with Biden, they may give stimulus checks to everybody in the world. Forget about us. Everybody will get them. This might be the key point to buy the Turkish lira. Right, I agree with you. And Yellowfish is saying about... Did that answer your question, Yellowfish, about gold? It's going to try to turn. Matter of fact, I think I saw platinum. What did I see? Let me go to platinum. Let's look at the metal sector here. While I'm here, I might as well save this. So let's get that out of the way. I can save it down below on another screen. There we are. Yes. All right, now, and you can see silver trying to do the same exact thing. We'll give it a refresh. It's trying to lift up too. Again, I'm not really sure how well those things are going to hold on, because the insiders, remember, a lot of these markets are run by the central banks, which means a lot of the elected officials know what's going to go on policy-wise. So they'll be out there pressing the daylights out of it on the short side, knowing that it's a great short. Now, look at platinum. There's April platinum. And, it tried to close in a buy. If that had been a green dot, we'd have been, it would have been in a buy. That's why we put that up on the chart last night. You can see it's not even remotely threatening that. So, if, remember the spread pre-Trump era, the spread was like, $200, $150, things like that, right? And then during the Trump years, the spread went to $1,000. So there's a good chance that this could be the anti-Trump trade. In other words, watch platinum go up, watch gold go down, silver and so forth. That could literally be it. It's just a wild idea I just had just this last few minutes. Remember, under Yellen, the platinum gold spread was only a few $100s wide, $150 wide. It was kept pretty tight. She may bring it back into that position again. So this spread could, look at it. Since the election, this product has gone up. Think about it. Since November, this product has gone from the $859 area to the $1132 area. So what's that? $232. Now let's look at gold. Since the election, gold has gone from $950, right? $960 down to $1,772, gone back up to the 1950 area, and is now trading in the mid 1850s. Okay, so this could be the anti-Trump / Janet Yellen spread. This could be this Janet Yellen spread without a doubt, where they bring platinum back up into the $300 or $400 range of being minus to gold. Remember, a lot of politicians, trade the markets. They don't get punished, especially if they're Democrats. There's no punishment at all for a Democrat trading the market, insider information. So, they will load up the boat, and they'll make the money. You don't think Mrs. Pelosi, that she's worth $172 million now, on a salary of $178,000 a year? Between her and her husband, before she became speaker, they had no money. Very little money. Nothing. They didn't have millions, I can tell you that. They didn't even have I don't think they had $1 million. But now that she's been in Congress for 20 years, her and her husband have figured a way to make $172 million on paper. Real stuff, you can see it. Who knows what they have in cash that they've stockpiled. So, Democrats do that type of stuff. So these moves in the market, don't fight the Democrat. It's like the Fed. Don't fight the Fed. Don't fight the Democrats. When they want something to go up, more than likely it's going to go up. That is the way they roll. So where would we leave off? So we took care of yellowfish. Remember, guys, you can ask more than one question, so be my guest. We're taking care of middle age. Daniel's riding high. He's got them all the questions. Daniel, he's rocking it. From dark web stories to Turkish lira. He's rocking it. All right, so now let's drive over to, where are we driving over to now? Let's go over to cable. See what the cable looks like. There's cable. Now look at it. Daily's trying to bounce through. We got a green and red dot. So we got some volatility signal going on there. The weekly doesn't seem to really care about going down whatsoever. It's using the top time manifold like the zero line. It just bounces off of it constantly and lifts back up. So maybe we'll see that 38 to 42 range now. All right, what else we got going on here? Let's check out Canada. We already saw Turkish lira. Canada down a little bit from yesterday. Let's give it a refresh. You see the weekly is trying to lift through the way the Swiss is. Swiss, let's go back to that Swiss really quick. I think the Swiss is the same way, right? Right on the, actually it's through it already. We'll see how it holds up, which is saying basically when you look at the fact check spreadsheet, we're looking at the dollar in a weekly buy this week. So obviously some of this stuff is going to be moving in that direction. All right. Let's see. What else is there? No one else is asking any questions. So, all right, we're just going to go through this. We just did the Canadian. We did oil. We'll look at NASCAD and then jump back to the oil complex. And let's see. Where are we at here? Let me do this too. While I'm here. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to do that. While I'm here, let's go back to the platinum for a second. Right there. And let's move that over. And let's save that. So we'll go through the whole metal complex and finish it off looking at them at the same time. And then what we do is, so that's that. So, oh, and copper. Let's check out the copper. Last night we had a red dotted line through here. This thing has thrown itself up. The data, Mondays they do that. We're starting to realize that it's Mondays that happen, because what they do is, for some reason, these information providers commingle Sunday night trading with Monday, and then what they do is they consolidate it as one day. So in other words, yesterday it was reflecting a 10 and 11. Now it just reflects a 11, and that's why they put a gap in there. And so, so you can see here that the movement is still on the upside, and this thing is doing the same thing. Copper is not willing to let go, and they'll build buildings and then tear them down again, like the way the Chinese used to do. That's probably pretty cool. I know that AOC, the congresswoman from New York, she's suggesting that if a skyscraper has too big of windows, she wants them to rip the skyscraper down and rebuild it. So that's part of the new Green Deal. So that'll be kind of fun to watch. I don't think she's going to get traction with it, but that's the type of people we have now running the government. Rip buildings down because the window's too big. Why not just take the window out and put a smaller one in instead of ripping down a whole skyscraper? They wanted to make it environmentally friendly. Right there. So that's copper. All right. Did I say that? I thought I did. I may not have. Right there. All right. So that's the metals complex. Now we go over to the NASCAD. Let's look at NASCAD. Right there. And you can see the pressure for 2 days now, heading down. And that usually is a sign of weakness to the oil market. The same thing with the CAD. As much as we saw the strength here, we thought, that this is a sign of strength in oil. This move right here, but these last couple of days, no. And so I guess that's why we're looking at. Let's go back to the oil market now. Right there. That's why we're seeing the strength. It was hesitant for the last couple of days, and now it's seeing the strength. So let's save that. So that's oil. That's crude oil. And then we can take a look at the one right afterwards, and that's natural gas right there. You can see the strength in that. As much as we're not going to see cold weather, this thing seems to be moving up. Maybe they're anticipating that I guess the next administration will limit drilling. So maybe they're figuring it'll drive the prices up. I guess that's probably the best way to look at it. So that'll just drive the natural gas prices up. Boy, they do like to make things expensive for everybody. Let's see. Next one in the oil complex will be Robo. And, we've been looking at the gas pump prices getting higher and higher, which has been kind of curious. And that's probably the answer to it. I didn't really put two and two together, but the closer we get to the inauguration, they're probably anticipating the idea that there's going to be more taxation on oil, and so it's going to be more expensive to utilize. Remember, they hate oil. They love unicorns. That's where their heads are at. And then let's take a look at... okay, I get it. And then let's go take a look at the last of the oil complex, and that is bean oil. Now, that's a curiosity. That's moving down. So, what does that mean? Look at that. It's pressure is on that thing. Still moving down, and coming off of, I guess, what, the 44 area, 43.99 high, right there. 44.54. Now it's trading at 42.05 lows. So it's taking a couple cents out of that. Out of the bean oil. Now the weekly looks very firm here, so I'm not sure how, this could be just the crush spread going on. But let's save that. So the oil complex, that's our look of the oil complex. Sui oil. Yes. All right. Now Daniel was talking about the stock market, so why don't we go take a look at the stock markets, and we'll go from there. So to start off with, there's the NAS 100. They've put pressure on this thing until today. Well, no, I mean yesterday it was still rising in a daily buy, and now it is flirting with a daily sell. Let's just refresh that. Oh, it's wiped out, gone. No more daily sell. It's cleaned up, reloaded. We hadn't reloaded that since last night, so that's holding up very well here. You can see it's still above the zero line on the weekly, so no problems there. So let's save that. And so that's the NASDAQ 100, or on Dukascopy right here. It is the Tech 100. Let's show you that. Right there, Tech 100. Oh, Yellowfish says, to be fair, the U.S. government subsidizes oil companies far too much. The price should be higher. Why should it be higher? Doesn't the population deserve cheaper oil? Are you into that thing where you think mankind has something to do with our weather? If you believe that, mankind and in industrial production and all that stuff has something to do with the weather, then yes, I can understand why you think that. But it doesn't. The sun controls 99.9% of our weather. And man, you can pollute places. You can pollute small areas. You can be sloppy. I mean, look at Chernobyl. There's about the height of sloppiness. You can damage areas like that. There's no doubt about it. But why punish everybody that has to try to drive? You know what I mean, Yellowfish? Now, I can understand you believing that if you think that mankind, humanity has something to do with the weather. I can understand that part. Oh, let me do this. Let's refresh that. Cancel. Cancel. There we are. But we have nothing to do with the weather. I don't own a car and don't think my taxes should pay for my neighbor's Jeeps. Okay. Well, then vote people out that tax you. I think taxation is criminal. Do you think taxation is good or bad? To me, it's just robbery. Someone goes to work, they work, and then you take money away from them for nothing. Supposedly, they're going to give you something. 1900, we had no income tax up until 1913. We had no income tax for a couple centuries, or a century and a half, 2 centuries. Right? Our economy grew faster than anything recorded in history. The moment we put the taxes on, the income tax, our economy started to slow. It's been slowing ever since. So, innovation has slowed. Patents have slowed. Growth has slowed. And we're still outperforming the rest of the planet enormously. So, let's see. I don't. Here's another idea. U.S. deals. What is that? Signal. Oh, Israeli shekel. Short meaning long. I don't. I always watch the shekel and then the zloty. From Poland and so forth. These solid economies. They're very solid economies. They're taxed. I'm not sure what they're. I know that Poland's taxed less than the rest of the continent. Israel, I'd imagine that there is a little bit more since they're a war economy. They don't have much choice with all the countries trying to kill them, but they have to spend a lot of military money. Taxes bad. A little tax to pay for schools, garbage collection, etc. But overall bad. Right? Exactly. Yeah, I think taxation is bad. Giving politicians money to spend is a crazy idea, as far as I can tell. It's not a good thing, I can tell you that, because they don't. Let's think about it this way: before all those taxes, we still could fund the military and do all those other things. Build highways, have schools. Now we have all that taxation and debt, and the schools are no better. The highways are more vast, but not much better in the sense of, the efficiency of it all. The military is still number one on the planet, so I don't see success through taxation. I only see a hindrance of growth, innovation, medicine, science, education. It's all gone downhill, not uphill. Okay, so do you want to see the Israeli shekel? Is that what you want to see? I don't think I've ever looked at. Maybe I did for Zev. There used to be this fellow on webinars, Zev, and he used to do Dorsey Wright. He was very active on using the X and O's, Dorsey Wright. It's an old technical analysis tool for about 150 years. And um, I don't think we ever looked at the shekel. The shekel's relatively flat, but why don't we take a look at the shekel? I can do that. Now you got my curiosity. Yeah, let's take a look at it. Oh, and then now you can see, look at taxation, what it did to the South African rand. It went from like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe, to like 18, right? It tripled in price. So taxation definitely does not work well. Let's put it this way. If those politicians knew what they were doing with money, they wouldn't be politicians. They'd be in private business at this point. You know what I mean? Yeah, they'd be making money. But then, now in politics, especially if you're a Democrat, you can really make a lot of money. Let's see. Let's take care of that. And so there's the 4 indices. We updated those. Now let's go take a look at Daniel. Where are we headed for? We should check out the Israeli rand and then go to the South African. I mean the Israeli shekel and then the South African rand, right? They have these pairs and okay, we'll go over Dukascopy first. Let's see. Let's take a look at that. What's that? Dollar shekel? I've never really looked at it on here. Let's take a look at it. There's the rand. So the rand is trading in the 15s. I know we have that on our thing there. Let's check that out. Where's that at? Right there. There it is. Dollar rand. Oh, they're lifting it back up again. Okay. Oh, look at it. It's playing with a daily sell there today. Here, I'll show it to you. Right there. Just give it a refresh. But look at the weekly. It's trying to get it into the buy, even as they start to put some pressure on it. Now, there's the rand. Now, what was the other one? The Israeli shekel. There's the ruble. So what was that? USD slash. What's the symbol on that? ILS. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. I've never looked at it through my math. We can do that too at the same time. I'll put that in. Where do we put that in? I watched the Zolti. It just seems to be a good. Oh wow, look at that thing drive. I guess. Wow. That's didn't. Wow. I don't know what else to say, but wow, look at that. But it's not that much, I guess, in some ways. What's that over? Just 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? No, I guess not. It was up almost up around the 4s. Where's Zolti at lately? Let's just check out Zolti. I watch it through the. There it is, right there. I watch it through the euro against the Zolti. Kind of doing the same thing, but not taking out any lows here. Okay, now let me find somewhere to put it. How about in the CAD yen? Where else can we put it? Turkish lira. How about that one? Let's do this. So, instrument, cash, add symbol, cash, add symbol, USD. Look up. There it is right there. Okay. Now, close. This is going to be interesting. I've never really looked at it through my math at all. Always something new. How about that? Cool. Yeah, look at that. Now, let's see. Where did we go into the weekly sell? Went to the weekly sell there. And has been in a weekly sell ever since. Went to the weekly buy there for that little pop. There's a daily sell right there. Move that zero stuff out of the way. Remove. Did go into a daily buy there for a little bit. Right to there. Daily buy. And then boom. Right into a daily sell right there. Went into the buy there. And then back into the sell again. It's been in the sell since. That chart's pretty well. Move that one over. Protected you from that little bounce. Let's see, let's move this one over right to there. Ah, I went into a buy there, so let's grab this. Move that over like so. Yeah, there's a buy. And it went right back into the sell there 2 days later. This thing can't last more than a couple of days in a buy, and then it rolls over. Where's that? Right there. And then, let's see what else we got here. Let's move over. Come on, guys. You can move over. There's a buy. That's a sell there. Let's move that sell over. Oh, wrong color. That's a buy right there. Where's that sell at? Right there. There's a sell right there before that drop. They front run that puppy, didn't they? All right. There you go. That's pretty cool, huh? Let's see. What do we got? Oh, Daniel. Let's see. Daniel says. Let's see. Okay. Daniel says even different platform. Let's see. Let's see. Daniel says they have these pairs at Dukascopy looked at daily trends. Let's see. So now different platforms. The chart history even on different. Okay. 3.20 in 2008. Now it's at 315 all-time lows. Click on the box and write manual. Okay. Yes, interesting action on that dollar Israeli shekel constant downtrend. Yeah. Look at the action we've had here from the 345, 350 area. I guess the 338, 340, and the daily has been some real chicken, real winner chicken dinner. Yeah. So that's been pretty good. The Israeli shekel. We'll have to put that in the title today. I think what we're going to do is we're going to label two labels here. No more bear markets. No more bull or bear markets. That's my attitude about it all. As long as we have central banks running the whole world, it means nothing now. So that's the way we roll around here now. I think that's with central banks, there is no bull or bear market. I think that's the way to look at it. Let's see, downtrend. Yeah, look at that. It's been in a downtrend since what? December 15th. And it's been in a weekly sell since October 16th. That week. Somewhere in that week, it went into the weekly sell. So, not bad, huh? All right, traders. We will catch you tomorrow. So this is Doc from North America. Arrivederci. Have a good day. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading